Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Amid the epic conclusion of One Piece, where each character and event is going to play a crucial role, a figure emerges who stands out as a fundamental piece in the plot, Don Quixote Doflamingo. Now his importance goes far beyond the typical villain, because he's a complex personality who profoundly shaped the course of One Piece's story, and still even plays a large role, even though he's just been imprisoned since the Dressrosa arc. We also know that Doflamingo will at some point be able to get himself free and begin his reign of chaos again in this final saga of One Piece. However, something unforeseen that could happen is that Blackbeard could be the one responsible for freeing him. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a possible alliance between Teach and Doflamingo, the reasons that lead us to believe that they really might end up coming together in this great final confrontation, and the impact that this alliance would have on the series. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, as leader of the Don Quixote pirates, Doflamingo not only demonstrated immense physical power, but also strategic skill and a high level of charisma. And his ability to manipulate was just simply exemplary, even though what he did was just simply awful. But by using his devil fruit powers to control bodies and orchestrate complex events, he was the one who really brought about the Battle of Dressrosa and had ruled that country for so many years prior. Even in these early parts of our final saga of One Piece, Doflamingo continues to cast his shadow over the narrative, and his past actions echo all the way into the present and still influence how characters like Luffy and Law take on challenges. His constant presence in the plot serves as a reminder of the lasting influence of not only his actions, but enriching the story by exploring themes related to the celestial dragons and the still unanswered mysteries of what the world government considers some of its greatest treasures. Therefore, Don Quixote Doflamingo is a crucial piece in One Piece's complex puzzle, and his own depth as a character, skill in manipulation, and lasting impact on the plot definitely establish him as one of the most memorable and important antagonists in the work. And when you look at even some of the worldwide popularity polls, Doflamingo tends to do very well. After his defeat at the hands of Luffy and his companions, Doflamingo was finally captured and imprisoned, and his arrest marked the end of an era, as well as dismantled much of the underworld that existed in the world of One Piece. But it also still had a bit of speculation and mystique around it, making us fans wonder about what was going to happen ultimately with Doflamingo and how he was even just pretty much allowing himself to be captured. Even behind bars, Doflamingo continues to be an intriguing and powerful figure, and he's still capable of manipulating situations even from being incarcerated. And his presence, even in seclusion, has been a constant threat because he still has his intelligence and his strategic skills, and plenty of time on his hands to make both of those go to work. Many, if not all of us, still wonder what the future actually holds for Doflamingo, especially considering his cunning personality as well as his ability to form unexpected alliances. One idea that has definitely gained traction among us fans is the possibility of an alliance between Doflamingo and Marshall D. Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, because both of these characters are quite known for their cunning and unbridled ambition, as well as the ability to play that long con game. During the time Doflamingo was a former warlord of the sea and leader of the Don Quixote pirates, Teach was leading his own crew in the search of ultimate power, and their aligned ambitions would create a formidable as well as unpredictable alliance. This speculation goes a little further by suggesting that during these new wars that are breaking out and the ultimate big war that's brewing, Blackbeard might see the potential in it and orchestrate a daring rescue operation. And Doflamingo's audacious escape from prison, led by Blackbeard, would free him and pave the way for a surprising alliance. And Doflamingo, now free and full of resentment after his defeat, would find in Blackbeard an ally willing to support his ambitions, as well as the two of them having a common enemy, being Luffy. This alliance would certainly be an impactful development in the world of One Piece, because you have two of the most cunning and formidable villains coming together and joining forces. And this would significantly alter the balance of power in the series' world, and might even kind of harken back to the way that the Cross Guild has already started to affect the world as a whole, just with that alliance between Crocodile, Mihawk, and of course Buggy. In addition to that, the dynamics between these two complex characters, as well as their interactions with other members of Blackbeard's crew, would promise to be a rich source of conflict and intrigue for us fans and readers. So let's talk about this alliance between these two characters and how it would have a profound implication application in the world of One Piece. Now, both of these individuals are known for their ambitions for power and desires to dominate the new world. But Doflamingo, with his political experience, knowledge of the world government's weaknesses, and other kinds of intel that he has, would prove invaluable to Blackbeard's quest to obtain his ultimate power and even his autonomy in the world. Furthermore, Doflamingo's manipulative and cruel personality could serve as an intriguing counterpoint to Blackbeard's more brutal and direct approach. So the dynamic between these two characters, each with their own motivations and plans, would be extremely interesting to watch. Another dimension would be the interactions between Doflamingo and Blackbeard's crew members, because this would be fascinating to observe. Because Doflamingo is known for his controlling and manipulative nature, his entry into the crew dynamic could trigger some distrust and internal rivalries. And that's on top of what already exists. And this would create fertile ground for internal conflicts and even create situations for betrayals. Thus, an alliance between Doflamingo and Blackbeard would signal another significant point in One Piece's narrative, especially as we head into this final saga. And there would be implications for both characters' developments on a much larger scale plot, because this is going to involve everybody in the world, not just interactions on one island or another. This possible alliance would also raise important questions about the balance of power in the world of One Piece, because both of these individuals are notable figures and have ambitious goals that shake the established structures, whether in the Yonko scene, the warlord scene, or just against the world government itself. So if Doflamingo and Blackbeard were to come together, it would create a formidable force that would change the world's status in a significant way. And this potential alliance between these two would also serve as a catalyst for interesting developments in Luffy and his companion's quest to become the most powerful pirates in the world, because we have to consider how all of these major factions are going to start interacting. We know that Luffy is going to eventually, whether he teams up with Shanks or at least has, kind of a quiet peace, we know that there's going to be a connection there, as well as whatever happens on Elbap, plus the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. We also have the Cross Guild, and we have the world government and navy. At some point, all of these different factions are going to clash, and this is probably going to be what's going to set up all of our big clashes and our final big battle that really will determine the fate of the world. Because Luffy and friends have faced off against Doflamingo and Blackbeard in the past, this new threat of them combining their strengths would be a formidable test for the Straw Hat crew. So as events continue to unfold in the world of One Piece, the possible alliance between Doflamingo and Blackbeard remains an intriguing unknown, but the creation of this alliance would be completely unpredictable and interesting to know how these two characters would work and get along in the same crew. Any dynamic between Doflamingo and Blackbeard could result in a volatile partnership, full of betrayals, rivalries, manipulations, and Doflamingo, with his political cunning and experience in deceiving others, he might even attempt to manipulate Blackbeard to suit his own ambitions, while Blackbeard, known for his unbridled ambition and relentless determination, just wouldn't accept being somebody else's pawn. Circling back to the crew dynamic, Doflamingo's entry into Blackbeard's crew would create divisions within the group, and the existing crew members might not fully trust the former warlord, especially considering his history of manipulation and betrayal, and this could lead to further internal conflict, testing the trust of Blackbeard's crew, which is shaky at best. Another influence of this alliance would also extend beyond the confines of Blackbeard's crew, because other established powers, such as Yonko and even the world government, might have to reevaluate their strategies and alliances that they hold to deal with this new threat. So the balance of power in the new world could be completely reset, resulting in an era of chaos and instability. The prospect of this alliance between Doflamingo and Blackbeard also raises deep ethical and moral questions within the One Piece universe, because both characters are notorious for their cruel and inhumane actions in the past. So this raises questions about how this alliance would affect not only just the balance of power we've talked about, but the morality of the series overall. Now, we know that Oda-sensei has never shied away from controversial or dark topics, but it does make us wonder, how dark is it gonna get before the new dawn that we've been promised in this world? So however these two might come together and eventually end up at each other's throats, it would be interesting to explore how characters like these notorious villains could end up justifying or even rationalizing their collaboration. The motivations behind this alliance, whether it's about the desire to conquer the world or just the search for more power, would also be an important detail to keep in mind as well. One last thing we'd like to mention before we go is that One Piece's story often deals with themes of redemption and change, and the prospect of previously evil characters finding redemption or changing their perspectives is not uncommon. Now, Doflamingo in particular has a very complex backstory and has had a path that led him to become a villain, Now, once he enters the alliance with Blackbeard, this could provide a unique moment of character development and an opportunity where he might even actually find some form of redemption, or at the very least, a change in his worldview. Just like everything else in One Piece, twists and surprises are an essential part of our narrative, and the possible alliance between Doflamingo and Blackbeard is just one of the many moving pieces in the complex chess game of our final saga. So Doflamingo's fate and his role in the final narrative remain very fascinating mysteries, and since he does have knowledge that very few people in the world have, especially when it comes to the world government and the Celestial Dragons, he's an extremely important character that could be revealing secrets to us that he knows. And that also means that he's just too important to just throw away in some jail cell somewhere. So whether it comes about or even how it comes about, this alliance between Doflamingo and Blackbeard is an intriguing and uncertain possibility in the world of One Piece. And us fans of the series are going to continue to speculate about the fate of all of these characters and the potential impact that this alliance could have on the plot. Now, Oda-sensei is a master at always surprising us, and this possibility promises to be another example of his ability to create this complex and engaging narrative, something that's going to keep us hooked to the very last page. All that is left for us fans to do is watch and wait this unfolding and intense, captivating story that is our final saga of One Piece. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. First off, what do you think about our idea here about Doflamingo and Blackbeard coming together? And how do you think it might work? What could bring them together? Or is it just the fact that Doflamingo has information that Blackbeard doesn't, the thing that would catalyze this potential alliance? Also, do you think it's something that could work, or would it just kinda eat itself up from the inside out? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. As we wrap up our video for the day, we want to first thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.